Today, we're diving into the Affordable Care Act. Now, I know it can feel like trying to solve a giant puzzle, but our goal here is to give you a clear map to help you really understand your health insurance options. So, let's kick things off with a question that, might seem a little weird. We're talking about health insurance, right? Not the Olympics. But trust me, by the time we're done, you'll see exactly how these medal levels are the absolute key to figuring out your choices. Okay, first things first. To really get a handle on the options, you have to understand the system they exist in. So let's look at the big idea behind the Affordable Care Act, or ACA, the creation of these things called health insurance exchanges.
So what in the world is an exchange? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a regulated online marketplace. I mean, before the ACA, shopping for your own insurance could be a total mess, super confusing. The exchange was designed to bring all the options into one place and simplify the whole process. And this slide really nails the why behind it all. See, the exchanges weren't just created to sell insurance policies. They were built with three really specific goals in mind. First, get more people covered. Second, make it easier for regular people and small businesses to shop for a good plan. And third, connect people to financial help to make it more affordable.
So that's the big idea. But how does this marketplace actually work when you go to use it? Let's break down exactly how the exchange is set up to help you out. The exchange basically plays three really important roles for you. First, it's a gatekeeper. It makes sure every single plan on the site meets a certain standard, that it's qualified. Second, it's like a translator. It takes all these different complex plans and puts them in a standardized format so you can actually compare them side by side, apples to apples. And third, it's a verifier. It checks your info to see what kinds of programs or financial help you might be able to get. And that brings us to, let's be honest, the most important part. What are the actual options you're going to see? What choices are you going to have to make?
The very first thing to know is this. Every plan you see on the marketplace has to cover these 10 categories of care. It's the baseline, the foundation of every plan. So whether you're looking at coverage for emergency room visits, prescription drugs, or even maternity care, it's all built in. No exceptions.
Aha! Remember our question from the beginning? This is where those medals finally come into play. To make it way easier to compare plans, they're all grouped into 4 tiers: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. You can just think of them as a simple shorthand for how you and your insurance company will split the medical bills. Now, the official, kind of technical term for this is actuarial value. I know, it sounds super complicated, but it's really not. All it means is the percentage of average medical costs that a plan is expected to cover for everybody on that plan. And this chart here shows you exactly what that looks like in the real world. A bronze plan, on average, is designed to cover about 60% of your healthcare costs. So you pay the other 40%. It goes right up the ladder from there. A silver plan covers about 70%, gold covers 80%, and a top-of-the-line platinum plan covers 90% of the costs. So this brings us to the crucial trade-off. This is probably the most important concept to get. With a bronze plan, you're usually going to have a lower monthly bill, that's your premium, but you'll pay more out of your own pocket when you actually go to the doctor. With a platinum plan, it's the total opposite. You'll have a much higher monthly bill, but your costs will be lower when you actually need care. Now, to help out with those monthly premium costs, the ACA created something called the Advanced Premium Tax Credit. It's pretty straightforward. If your income is within a certain range, you can get this tax credit, and it directly lowers the cost of your monthly bill. It can make a huge difference in affordability. All right, so beyond just the plans and the costs, the ACA also put some major new rules in place to protect consumers. Let's take a look at a few of the really big ones. This number was a game changer for millions of families. 26. That's the age that young adults can stay on a parent's health insurance plan. It created a really important safety net for a lot of people just starting out. And this number has to do with your savings. The ACA also sets the annual limit for how much you can contribute to a flexible savings account, or an FSA. Now, that limit does change, but to give you an idea, back in 2021, it was $2,750. And this number, well, this one might be the most important of all, even though it's zero. This represents the lifetime dollar limit that insurance plans can put on most of your essential benefits. Before the ACA, people with very serious illnesses could actually max out their coverage for life. Now, those lifetime limits are gone. It's a huge protection. You might also hear people talk about grandfathered plans.
So what are those? Well, these are just plans that people had before the law was passed back in 2010. The main thing to know is that these older plans don't have to follow all the new rules, like covering those 10 essential benefits. But one rule they do have to follow, you guessed it, no lifetime limits.
Okay, and finally, since a lot of health insurance rules are handled at the state level, let's just zoom in for a second and look at a few specific programs for folks living in New York.
So, New York offers several really specific programs. For example, there's Healthy New York, which is designed to help small businesses offer coverage to their employees. There's also Child Health Plus, which is exactly what it sounds like, an insurance plan just for kids under 19. And there's also an association that was created to act as a safety net for residents with pre-existing conditions who, in the past, couldn't get coverage at all.
So let's bring it all back home to this one central idea. The online exchanges, the metal tiers, the financial help, all those new protections, every single piece of the system we've just walked through was designed with this fundamental mission in mind.
Which, of course, leaves us with a final question to chew on. The Affordable Care Act undeniably changed the entire landscape. It created a whole new structure with new rules and new options. So the real question for you to consider is, has all of this actually made the incredibly complex world of healthcare any easier for people to navigate?